Welcome back to Beat the Nation. Now, Tim, we're on the edge of our seats, waiting for the answer to that 1%er.
Well, before the break, I asked you, at the end of which geological period did the dinosaurs become extinct? Neil or Katie, would you happen to know?
My guess would have been something like Cretaceous.
Oh, well, Jurassic or Cambrian, not sure.
Graeme?
I'm fairly sure it wasn't Jurassic, that's all I'm saying.
Well, Neil was right, it was Cretaceous. But it's no bad thing if you got that wrong at home, because just 1% of the nation and Neil got it right. Well done if you did.
Meanwhile, Neil and Katie remain in the quiz, and now the pressure is really on them. In this round, I'm going to ask questions back and forth between each contestant in turn. The questions get harder and harder until someone finally cracks and gets one wrong. Now, wrong answers will cost a life, and our contestants start with only 3 lives each. Neil, you had the highest score coming out of the last round, so the first question will go to you. Let battle commence. It's a fairly simple question, Neil. It's a 10-pointer. What does the A stand for in the term A-bomb?
Atom.
Atom is correct. Katie, 50-pointer. To which famous university do Magdalen and King's colleges belong?
Oxford.
I'm afraid Cambridge is the answer to that one, Katie, and you lose the first of your lives. Just 2 lives left. The questions stay with you. We go back to a simple one, a 10-pointer. Sash, bay and French are all types of which household fixture?
Window.
That's right. Neil, a 40-pointer. Where on the body would a lobotomy take place?
Your head or the brain.
Yes, indeed, the brain inside the head. Yep. Katie, a 70-pointer. Cajun music came originally from which US state?
Louisiana.
Yes, it did. An 80-pointer, Neil. Most people don't know the answer to this. The X-shaped cross, known as a saltire, is also known by the name of which saint?
Andrew.
St. Andrew, yes it is. Katie, you face an 85-pointer. Stirling Lines, near Hereford, was the headquarters of which British regiment until it moved to RAF Creedon Hill on the other side of the city?
The Queen's Regiment.
It was the SAS.
Oh, right.
So, Katie, you lose another life, down to your last life now, which means you have to give me correct answers from now on, and the questions stay with you. But it's a 20-pointer. What is SIT short for in the term sitcom?
Situation.
Situation is right. Neil, a 50-pointer. In medical shorthand, the vaccine MMR stands for measles, mumps, and what else?
Rubella.
Rubella is right. Katie, a 70-pointer, getting tougher. Which animal's home is known as a dray?
A squirrel.
A squirrel lives in a dray, yes. Neil, an 80-pointer. Coney, the old name for which animal, is also used for its fur?
The rabbit.
The rabbit is right. You face an 85-pointer, Katie. Which MP succeeded Sir Edward Heath as Father of the House of Commons at the 2001 general election? It's a tough one, but I need the right answer for you to stay in the game. Which MP succeeded Sir Edward Heath as Father of the House of Commons at the 2001 general election?
Tony Benn.
It was Tam Diel.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And with that, Katie, that's the last of your lives gone.
Those of course questions are the most frustrating. My brain went when lobotomy came up, because the anagram for Tim Brooke-Taylor is rear lobotomy kit. It's a very useful piece of information for our doctor here.
I know there were a couple of medical questions which went to Neil, in
Yes,
fact.
they did, yes. But Neil got them.
Well, at the end of that, it's Neil who has triumphed, and in a moment he will attempt to beat the nation. But Katie, never mind, because we just can't resist giving money away on this show. So I'll hand you over to Tim.
Well, I'll do my best, Katie. It's time for our Fame Game Challenge. On the screen, you'll see pictures of 2 famous Davids, the thin white Duke of Rock, David Bowie, and Chelsea strip fetishist, David Mellor. But for £100, which one could more of the nation identify? In other words, who's more famous, David B or David M?
Well, I think David Miller's more infamous, but that was back in '92, wasn't it, with the whole Antonio de Sanchez scandal. So I think he's been out of the public eye since then, whereas David Bowie's been quite consistent over the past 30 years, so I'm going to go for David Bowie.
Good reasoning. David Mellor looks a very strange colour. But let's see, first of all, what percentage recognised David Mellor in his orange face? Oh, rather a large percentage, 74%. David Bowie is distinctive. Come on, nation, don't let Katie down. Make it more 76. Very close, Katie, but 76% is enough for you to get the £100. Thanks very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much, T.
So it's goodbye to Katie, but congratulations to Neil, who is just 90 seconds and 10 correct answers away from winning today's show. That is, if you can beat the nation. And here's how you do it.
Your first question is easy. It's one that 90 to 100% of Britain could answer. Get it right, and we'll move on to a question that between 80 and 90% can answer, and so on. If you get a question wrong, you'll just keep getting questions from the same level until you do get one right.
So the questions keep getting harder and harder right up to the last level, where you'll have to answer a question that less than 10% of the nation knows the answer to. Well, Tim, Neil started off with what appeared to be inspired guesses, but here he is in the final round.
I think calculated guesses they were. He had worked them out. They were an 86 and a 90. He won round 2. He beat Katie, who was a formidable opponent, 3-0 in the round before, so I think he should do pretty well. But calculated guesses were Cactus and Robbie Williams' dad, the singer. So he's a broad knowledge as well, and a lucky beggar. So I think he'll do it.
We'll see if his luck holds out. OK, Neil, prepare to beat the nation. Your first question could be answered by 90 to 100% of people, and your 90 seconds starts now. Although usually light in colour, an aeroplane's flight recorder is usually referred to black box, yes. 80 to 90. A mutt is a slang term for which animal?
Dog.
Yes, 70 to 80. Charles Chubb and Linus Yale were particularly famous for making locks. 60 to 70. Which sport could you watch at Henley Regatta?
Rowing.
Yes, 50 to 60. In the UK, what would be your occupation if you were a member of ABTA?
A travel agent.
Yes, you would. 40 to 50. The area known to the Romans as Caledonia corresponds roughly to which
Scotland.
country? Scotland, yes. 30 to 40. How many legs does a true insect have?
6.
Yes, 20 to 30. Which city is the capital of Brazil?
Brasilia.
Yep, 10 to 20. On which test cricket ground are the Grace Gates and the Tavern boundary?
Lords.
Yes, under 10%. In which castle was Princess Margaret born on August 21st, 1930?
Windsor.
Glamis. Who founded the Academy in Athens in about 387 BC?
Aristotle.
Plato. The dance, the Shardash, originated in which modern-day country?
Romania.
Hungary. What was the name of the park ranger in Jellystone Park in the Yogi Bear cartoons?
Ranger Smith.
Ranger Smith is right. Well done.
We get to the intellectual ones, that's the real one.
Yes.
You've done so well on the way, absolutely straight through, and I thought, oh no, he's got to hit it, and then Ranger Smith. Where did that come from?
I've no idea.
But it came at the right moment, that's the important
yes.
thing. Yeah, very well done indeed.
Yes, very good run there. So Neil has won the day and he takes home £500, but more importantly may have qualified for our £25,000 grand final at the end of the series. Next time, 4 new contestants will be battling to beat the nation. But before we go this time, Tim is going to leave us with some more national statistics.
Well, the nation is divided on arithmetic questions. We asked, what is a third of 24? And only 85% answered this basic question with the correct answer, 8. This means that 15% of the nation must take their calculators shopping.
Hope for us all.
Yes.
Don't forget that you at home can still pitch yourself against the nation at any time by logging on to 3ws.channel4.com/beat the nation. Once again, that's all. We'll see you next time.
See you then. Bye.
And that's tomorrow at 2:45. Next on 4, Numbers and Conundrums. It's time to count down.